Everybody, Andy here again. Welcome to my world. Well, the world today, anyway, if I come round, I won't tell you where I am. If I just pan round gradually, and you might get some wind and noise in this. These are the end, right at the end of the South Downs. If I come round here, there's a lovely little bit of beach here. If I come round here, you might well recognise that particular site over there. That is the Beachy Head Lighthouse. And I'm right at the foot of the cliffs at Beachy Head, and this lovely little beach. I've been here a few times before and saw that the weather was nice, saw I was going to be off today, and I thought, I know, if the tides are right, I'll come down here because it's a wonderful spot. And as you can see, I'm alone, and that's one of those things that I find amazing. A place like this, I can actually see people on the top of the cliff right there in the centre of the picture, and I can see them. They're probably looking down at me and thinking, how on earth did he get there? Well, it's a bit of local knowledge, I suppose, a little know-how, and maybe a bit of map reading skills as well. But I'm going to have a walk around and I may show you some other bits as well. I'm going to try and look for some fossils. I did come here a number of years ago and actually did like a little scenic walk that I do, and I may well post this as a response to that, or that as a response to this, whichever way you look at it, rather than me going through all the fossil hunting stuff as well, which I'm going to have a look at on the way back. I wanted to get here because the low tide is only in about an hour and a half's time, so I wanted to make sure I don't get cut off. Anyway, I'm going to go for a wander. Well, this, as I probably mentioned earlier on, is one of my sort of favourite little spots, and I'm sure you can see why. One of those places that's pretty well undiscovered, as you can imagine. As I said, I'm the only one here, and I've been here a few times, and there's only been a couple of occasions when I've actually met anybody down here as well. Usually locals come down here to do a bit of sunbathing out of the way, and I did actually bring my family down here once, because I sort of discovered this by looking at the map and looking and thinking, hang on a minute, if I look at that map, that looks as though I can get down on below the bottom of the cliffs and actually walk along. I didn't realise that this sort of beach and that was here, and that it was such a lovely area and so unspoilt and just nobody about. So that was a great discovery. But it's great to be able to do that and just have a look around. That old inquisitive nature comes into it again as well, and go along and then find out, yes, a little discovery, and that nobody or very, very few people know about. As I said, you've got these people standing, I can still see them standing up on the top of the cliff right up there on the side of the picture there, and I can even hear the voices of people up there because the wind's sort of carrying them, and they're probably standing up, as I said, and thinking, how on earth did that bloke get down there? Cool, I wish I could be down there. Well, there you go. I'm going to enjoy being down here on my own and have a wander. One thing that does always amaze me, as I said in the previous video that I made, is that all of these cliffs here, they're about 500 feet over there at the highest point where the lighthouse is. The top there, it's about 500 feet, which isn't a huge distance, I know, but it's certainly a fair way, which is why people come here to jump off. But these cliffs, it always amazes me when I think that all of these are made out of basically fossilised animals, carbonated, is that the right word? Sea creatures from sort of millennia ago that laid down their lives, I suppose, all that time, got stuck down here and then got fossilised and created all these cliffs, which it must have been absolute trillions, unimaginable numbers of tiny sea creatures gave their lives so that you could have this view now. Thank you. Here we are, still at the foot of the lighthouse, Beachy Head Lighthouse, and I've actually moved around a little bit. Actually got closer than I think I've ever been before to it, for one reason or another, which I'll show you. If you can see me in front of me here, there's all these rocks, and if I pan around a bit, you can see all of these rocks here. If I go up, you can see a massive rock. That one there is all in the process of sort of falling down. If I come along to the top of the cliff, this little feature up the top here, I think they call this the chimney stack or something along those lines, and that looks pretty precarious to me, and I certainly wouldn't want to be underneath that when it falls down. And we do obviously get periodic rock falls, as you can see from all the scree, I think that's the right word, as we come back down. That's obviously where all of these rocks here at the bottom, which is one reason that I haven't come along here. But the weather's been pretty stable recently, especially in the winter with the frost, and then we get a bit of warm weather and water gets into the cracks in the chalk, freezes, and then it expands it, and eventually bits just fall away, as I've shown you before, probably along the Seven Sisters, which is just literally around the corner from here. This is looking back the other way from the bottom of Beachy Head, back towards Eastbourne. You might be able to see Eastbourne and the difference. If I sort of pan in a little bit and come in, you might be able to see Eastbourne appearing in the foreground. You might be able to see the pier, and right across the bay would be Hastings, but that's too far away. So it just shows you we're not actually that far away from the centre of civilization. Well, nearly the centre of civilization anyway. Quick view back to the lighthouse. I don't know if you can see that in the distance. If I come in a bit, you might be able to see it. But just to the left of the lighthouse, there's a boat going across there, and I do believe, looking at the time, that's the ferry between Newhaven and Dieppe that's going across. Obviously very busy shipping lanes around here in the English Channel. Well, I've come up from Beachy Head, and this is the view back from the hill. This is part way up the actual main hill, I suppose, that is Beachy Head, which is behind me, and this is the view back into Eastbourne and Hastings over in the distance. Probably can't see it, but lovely little area this. Lots of little pathways to walk around, and one of the bits that I suppose it's not quite as popular as some of the other parts around here is people go to the top of Beachy Head, which is, if I come round, is just over that hill there, and as you can see there aren't many people about, but I bet you at the top of Beachy Head and over that part it's pretty crowded. Lovely little spot. Got loads of little ninjas and beasties and things crawling all over me, which is a little bit annoying, but there you go. That's the countryside for you. Well, that's it. That's the end of my little impromptu walk. I decided yesterday that as I knew it was going to be nice today and I was off work today, that I'd go out somewhere. I couldn't decide where. I said to my wife if there's anywhere that she wanted to go, but she couldn't for one reason or another. So I think, should I go to the woods? Should I come to the downs? Should I go to the beach? And a couple of people contacted me via tweets or Facebook or whatever, give me some ideas. And one of them sparked the idea of coming here. As I said earlier, I haven't been to this part for a couple of years now, and it's absolutely amazing down. I found some sort of fossils on the way back. Not particularly great. We're not going to sort of break any, big scientific discoveries or anything like that. But you have to know where to look, and you have to keep your eyes open. Oh, we've got helicopters coming along here now, obviously doing tours of Beachy Head. I expect it's one of those sort of areas. It's very, very popular. It gets filmed a hell of a lot, and they do tours. There's 3 helicopters. So something going on. Yeah, maybe they found me. Maybe they spotted me down earlier on. So I'm going to leave it there. One of those great things, isn't it? You come out and you think, oh, I'll go there. And when you don't look forward to something for a long time, sometimes it can be better than when you do. You know what it's like, that sort of expectation. You go on a holiday or you do something, one of those great things, and you think, I'm really looking forward to this, and you go there and do it. It doesn't quite live up to what you think it will do. But today has been good, except for the little beasties, which are crawling all over me at the moment. But a nice little spot anyway. Cheers.